In an era when more pro wrestling content is being produced than ever before, let's make sure that what you have to say isn't forgotten. It's next on Till We Make It. I'm Mike Quackenbush, and this is Till We Make It. If you are passionate about the craft of professional wrestling and you're never done learning all about it, then you have landed in the exact right place. What are you waiting for? Go ahead, join the Till We Make It tribe, subscribe right now. Or if you want to take your education to the next level, come join us over on Patreon. Since launching this YouTube channel over 3 years ago, I've made about 460 videos for the Till We Make It project, and 100 of them are exclusively for my patrons. So if you want access to all of that knowledge and you want to join this awesome roll call, follow the link down below in the descriptus, and you can be part of our community for as little as $5 US a month. You got PayPal, you got a credit card, you're in. We'll see you over there. Today, I want to take a staple of professional wrestling and marry it to a technique from journalism. Lately, I've been feeling a little bit of the old wrestling burnout. And whenever I'm getting burned out on wrestling, one of the things I do is revisit the wrestling that inspired me to want to become a wrestler in the first place. Incidentally, I've got a video all about battling wrestling burnout here on the channel. Stay tuned to the very end. I'll link you to it at the end of the video. For me, that includes revisiting the output of the World Wrestling Federation from the early to mid 90s. And back then, the pace at which stories were told was much different than it is today, in part because there were only 4 tentpole pay-per-views on their annual calendar at that time. You had Royal Rumble, then WrestleMania, then SummerSlam, then Survivor Series. And I remember when they tried to jam that 5th one on the calendar and King of the Ring felt like one too many. And I bet this sounds quaint to you if you are of the social media era of wrestling, because this was very much the framework of the previous era, the cable TV era. Now we get premium live events roughly every 3 weeks. We're barely done with Clash at the Castle and we're already trying to build Extreme Rules. And Extreme Rules is barely done when we have to figure out what we're doing at Crown Jewel. And then we got to get to Survivor Series. And in between, I think there's Halloween Havoc, right? And there was another NXT one in the middle there somewhere. My point being, the pace at which wrestling stories are told has been accelerated by this new schedule, where a story's introduced in week 1, built in week 2, and then paid off at the premium live event in week 3. And that's just what the WWE's corporate wrestling machine is churning out. We haven't even started to cover AEW, or the NWA, or MLW, or GCW, or what if you follow IWRG down in Mexico, or IWS up in Canada, or UKPW across the Atlantic. There's so much wrestling content being created and then distributed on a weekly basis. It's completely oversaturating the market. And the problem that presents to you as a working pro is, how do you make sure your promos are memorable? That 3, 6, 9 months from now, people remember your words with the same clarity of the most famous promos of all time. How can you ensure that your words and your stories aren't forgotten? Back in the day, when I was working toward a degree in journalism, I took a whole bunch of classes on that exact topic. And before the University of Pittsburgh and I decided we should see other people, I learned a lot of really valuable lessons. One, I want to explain to you today, but that requires the aid of an oft overlooked role in the world of professional wrestling. And that is the Stickman. The person conducting an interview or presenter who's going to walk you on by priming the audience for what you're about to tell them and then recaps it after you are gone. And going back to revisit WWF programming from the early to mid 90s made me realize how devalued this role has become in modern wrestling. Stickmen are now sometimes cast for no other reason than their telegenic appearance, not their ability to aid wrestlers in telling their stories. But when you watch the people who did this job masterfully, it becomes immediately apparent how valuable they are in cementing promos and stories in the mind of fans. My coffee-swilling journalism professor in college, Hugh Mannon, taught me this great journalism hack to embolden stories you are telling. And it's made up of just 3 steps, which I'll paraphrase for you now. Step number 1 is you are going to tell them what you're about to tell them. And then step 2 is you tell them. And step 3 is then you tell them what you just told them. That's what you're going to do. But in order for this to all come together beautifully, you need to call on your secret weapon, the Stickman. For this to work beautifully, you're going to have to do some of the Stickman, the interviewer's work for them. Especially on the day of a live event, they're going to be busy with all kinds of responsibilities. And on a long day of taping promos, they're going to have too much to keep in their heads. So you might write it down for them on an index card, making it easy for them to say what you need them to say. Because step 1 and step 3 of that journalism hack will be delivered by the Stickman. Before you even begin speaking, it's going to be the interviewer who tells the audience what you're about to tell them. And then after you're done speaking and you walk off, it is the interviewer who tells them what you just told them. And I'm going to give you an example. First, tell them what you're going to tell them. This first part of the hack is handled for you by the interviewer, by the Stickman, even if they are using lines you crafted for them and fed to them in advance. They will prime the audience by telling them what you're about to tell them. And it sounds like this. Fans, in just a moment, I'm going to be speaking with the baby accountant, fresh out of the ring following that violent Caribbean strap match we all just saw against his hated rival, Adam Adams. And he's got something he wants to declare in front of our entire viewing audience. Here he comes now. Second, tell him this part is handled by you, the wrestler. It's already been teed up for you by the interviewer. The Stickman has primed the audience, telling them what you're about to tell them. Now it's up to you to tell them the message. And it might sound something like this. That's right, Mean Gene. I finished off my opponent just like I told everyone that I would. Left him in a bloody pile in the center of the ring after that Caribbean strap match. And now that I've had my revenge, I want everybody here watching live, everybody following along at home, to hear these words clearly. I will never face Adam Adams inside the squared circle ever again. This matter between us is at last finished. And third, tell him what you just told him. And this third part is also handled for you by the interviewer. As you walk off, or as you head to the ring, or whatever comes next for your character, it's the Stickman doing the recap. Tell him what you just told him, saying something like this. Well, fans, we all just heard it right from the baby accountant's mouth, vowing to never face Adam Adams in the ring ever again. And that makes me wonder, why make this declaration now? Is the baby accountant scared of Adam Adams? I can't wait to see where things go next. Back to you, Bobby and Gorilla. This 3-step hack is such a powerful storytelling technique because it clarifies the story at every opportunity, thus making it easier to remember. By having the Stickman tee up the message for you and then delivering it in clear terms, being followed by a recap of that exact same message will make it so much more memorable than the vast majority of other promos out there, and definitely more memorable than ones delivered without this technique. If you're learning something here, won't you please leave a like-a-palooza on this video down below. If you want to check out that video I alluded to about battling wrestling burnout, click on it. It's appearing on screen for you right now. It will take you directly to it. And a big thanks, as ever, to all my terrific patrons. This would not be possible without your continued support. Thank you.